Live. 4 o'clock. What's up, everybody? How we doing? Can I get a sound check, please? Who's on? Who's going to be on first? Beth or my mom? Or Kayla? 2 people? Who do we got? Who do we have? Who do we have? Laura, you're first on. Thanks for stopping by. All right, all right. Can we get a sound check, guys? And what's everybody up to today? Mama, there you are. Okay, Washington. Charlie, is that Washington State or Washington, D.C.? Or Washington, Connecticut? I'm sure there's others. Those are just the 3 that are... Beth is on there, though. Everybody, hello. Spokane, Washington. Gotcha. Charlie, that's cool. Thank you. All right, everybody. All right. So, we're going to talk about the global sale. We're CT, Laura. We're going to talk about Elliott and Virginia just sold a 19D. Excellence. All right. All right. So let's see. So we're going to talk about the global sale, and then we're going to talk about the steps, which I don't think we ever really talked about that like that.
Yeah, I mean maybe
like the actual buying process. We probably I don't know. It seems like it could be one of those things that's super obvious, but we never did it.
And then like what happens once you
like what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what do you need to get ready after you buy and before delivery and all of that stuff. So I think it's a good, mix of stuff going on here.
Absolutely. And then we're having a weird day today. We'll give everyone a few minutes to hop on. A weird day, so a couple of losses, but a couple of victories, or maybe 2 losses, 1 victory today for us. We'll see. So we'll go from there. Weird day. The weather's nice. All right, 16. It's 2 after 4. We'll get rolling here in a second. Give everybody just another minute.
We should see next week. So we are going to London tomorrow night. But
Get up here. No one can see you from way back
I was
there.
going to say, we should see, we'll talk to Hot Tub Superstore. Maybe we could plan a live with them.
That would be fun.
And do one together. It's a little tricky with the time difference, but we'll talk to them next week.
It's 6,
so
right?
stay
6
tuned.
hours? I think it's 6.
I think it's 6
Yeah.
ahead of us.
London is 6
it's
ahead
either
of us.
5 or 6.
Yep.
Oh, now I have to check.
It's 6. It's good. You don't have to check. Shh.
And now I do, because I feel like it was 5.
She's like that all the time. All the time. Okay. So, global sale. So you got coupons running around.
It's 5, because it's currently 9 p.m. It's a 6-hour flight, 5-hour time difference.
Okay. We're all going to be okay. You feel better?
Yes.
All right. So get up here and talk about the global sale. You took the wind out of my sails.
All right. So this is, midway through, a little further than midway through. We're almost done with the Master Spas global sale that was for September 1st through September 30th. The proceeds, a percentage of the proceeds from this global sale are going to St. Jude, so it's a really great cause to participate in. And, dealers all over the world are participating in this sale, whether you go to a showroom or you go over the phone or you go to a big sales event, they will honor the coupons for the global sale. And so it's just a really good time. It's a good time anyway. September, winter's coming. It's a good time to buy a hot tub or a swim spa. And if you are looking for a swim spa like for next spring, honestly, now is the time to start thinking about that. One, it's really great discounts, but the lead time right now, you're about 4 months-ish out. So it won't be done in production until January-ish. So if you're looking to have delivery, next spring, it's something to think about now.
I guess the reminder there is that it's always, every time it's springtime, if you wanted something for the summer, for a swim spa in particular, and you didn't start looking until May or June, you're too late.
Sometimes, yeah.
It can be, unless you get lucky and someone's got something in stock ready to go, but everybody has that same thought. So it goes from like crickets to over busy for us every single year. So get ahead of that. And then the other thing is that, so typically if you go to some event, whether it's an expo or whether it's a showroom, and you don't want delivery until spring, I can guarantee you there will be a price increase at the end of the year, just like there has been at the end of every year since I've been around Master. So typically if you go in, pick something, you're gonna need to work with a salesperson, pick the right one, throw a deposit on it. Even if you're not taking delivery until spring, March, whatever, you're going to actually avoid that price increase. And it may only be a couple of percent, but a couple of percent is I mean, if someone dropped, $300, $600, $900 on the ground, we'd all pick it up. So it'll protect you from that. So you're saving now and hedging against that price increase, which we typically see. It hasn't been announced, but there typically is one. So not a bad time to do that. So what happens is you go to an event. Doesn't matter whether it's an expo or a fair, because it's fair season now too, or if you go to a dealership, find someone you like to work with and then start asking them the questions. And if you've been on here a lot, you probably have a bunch of good information. Most of the people you're going to come in contact with probably know us, which should be fun. And really neat, our community of sales staff on the swim spas in particular, the people who really know their stuff, it's a small community. Most manufacturers struggle with having staff that know anything about them. It's always a challenge. We've been working for years on this, so it's a good time to do that. So go in, find the one you want, and see if that works for you. Okay, and then typically, I can't speak for all dealers, but a lot of dealers, you would put a deposit and you wouldn't pay that balance until it was delivered in the spring. So not a bad way to go. Okay, so get out there, find your swim spa or a hot tub or chili goat.
Yeah.
So chili goats are growing and growing and growing, and it's rapid and it's going to be crazy. It looks like. Yeah. Lots of fun. So then, what are you doing while you're waiting? What
happens, what you put a deposit down, or you've scheduled delivery, you bought through this event and you're waiting for your hot tub or your swim spa to come. What are some things that you should do to get ready? What's some information that you want to have?
You should go back and watch all the lives.
Especially if you're getting a swim spa.
Because we are definitely focused on swim spas around these parts. The oil truck is back.
Yep.
It never fails. Never fails.
So, one of the things that a salesperson obviously is going to ask you before you even purchase something is, do you have a spot ready for a hot tub or a swim spa? And if you don't, and you're going to buy one for sure, you definitely want to make sure that that spot is ready for when you have delivery scheduled.
Yep.
Because if it's not, it's going to be a problem.
Lauren, I think he's right down there. Hang on. He's probably doing something bad. He's not right there.
Captain.
So, yeah. Lauren wants to know where Captain is. He'll make an appearance. If we call him, he'll definitely make an appearance. But it's funny. He used to climb the steps and sit there the whole time, and now all of a sudden he just doesn't. But he's like that. Sometimes he just... And Beth, if you're watching, you're going to laugh. It's so true. One day, he does everything the same way every single day, and the dog is so smart. And then the next day, he just does it differently, and that's it. It's done. It's gone. So that's Lauren. That's what's going on here. He doesn't come up the steps anymore, but he did earlier. Yeah. Very funny dog.
Yes, he
is.
Okay,
sorry.
No. So you're going to want to make sure that you have a spot ready. If you're going to pour a concrete pad, you'll want to get that plenty ahead of time, especially for a swim spa, because you want to have time for that pad to cure. For a swim spa, if you're pouring a new pad, we typically recommend a 6-inch pad. If it's, a huge swim spa like a 19, you want to reinforce that with rebar.
I like rebar in the 19s.
Yeah.
They're really,
18 and
really,
19, definitely.
They're really big.
Yeah.
And if you have never seen one in person, when you do, people are always...
Yeah.
I have heard this comment 1,000 times. Oh my God, the pictures online don't do this justice.
Yeah.
It's massive. It is absolutely massive. Okay.
And, you know, for definitely a smaller 13, 15, 12 foot, reinforcing with rebar is great. Hot tubs, you have a little bit more flexibility. You know, 4 inches on the hot tub foundation is good. You could also have it put on pavers, or a lot of hot tubs can go on a deck, especially if you talk to, you know, your salesperson just about, you know, how high the deck is, how old it is, all of those things. But I mean, delivery people definitely put hot tubs on decks a lot.
Actually, I'm gonna tease the salespeople and delivery people. So what happens in real life is either one of two things. Either the customer is afraid they're going to be charged for a difficult install, so they downplay it,
right?
Or the salesperson doesn't want to ask questions that are too tough that might kink the sale, so sometimes they don't ask the hard questions and leave some of that information out. So if one of those two things occurs, when the delivery guys get there, they're gonna, have a challenge if it was something that someone knew about. Okay, sometimes it's innocent, sometimes it's not. Try to be forthcoming. It's always much easier to have a discussion about a tricky install at the table, right then and there, and sort of make a plan. Anything can be handled. Okay, Patricia, when is the update on Ben's mom and her swim spa?
We were just talking about how we need to do another live.
We need to get back out there.
Yeah.
And what's funnier is
Honey.
Mom, you've been warned. We're coming.
Put the coffee on.
So my mother sent me a text. Mom, I don't know if you can comment and post that. If you can, the picture of you in the swim spa with the umbrella in the pouring rain was awesome.
He didn't even show me.
I didn't?
No.
Really?
No, you didn't show me that. I would have loved to have seen that. Post it.
I'm sorry. I thought I did. Who did I show?
I don't know.
Well, anyway, the picture was great. So Gary took one of my mother in there working out with an umbrella over her, and then he took another one, and she was just sitting back with the umbrella in the pouring rain, because we had some crazy rain. It was a great picture, lots of fun.
That's cool.
So have those discussions up front, guys. Some installs are easy and some are tricky, and that's just the way it is. But I'm telling you right now, if you've ever built a house or done a remodeling job, you've dealt with bumps in the road. This is no different. Putting a swim spa in is like it's not like a construction job or a project. It's obviously typically more simple than that. But you're gonna have little, oh geez, I didn't think about this. Right. And it's okay. It's okay. So have those discussions, make a plan. You're talking about, spring and summer of next year. And just go for it. So,
and with swim spas especially, keep in mind that swim spas are huge, and
right, Mike.
And they need
Mike
who?
McClure.
Oh yes, swim spas are giant, and they may take a little bit more time, and they possibly may need some extra equipment to deliver. So it's really important that information is figured out while you're buying it, or much more, if you don't really know where it's going and you're moving to a new house, or it's something that you're building, that information needs to be given to especially the delivery crew ahead of time, because if they need to rent a crane, they need to have somebody come out and do an inspection, or if they need to use some kind of special equipment, they'll have, make sure that that's there at delivery. So all of those things are important to know ahead of time.
See, Mike is having fun with me, and he wants me to share with everyone that we're well equipped. Mike is well equipped, and he is. Yeah. He's got all the equipment necessary to get these installs done.
Absolutely, yeah.
Idiot. Okay, so moving on. Plan is made. Now we're waiting. We're going to focus on some questions. Is the spot where it's going all set? Is the electrical done? Does the electrical, the house need an upgrade? So I will say this, we get this question a lot on the amperage.
Yeah.
So my mother, and I will show you on a live. Of course, I don't think anyone doesn't. Oh God, Mike, look what you started. Okay, I'm done with that subject. We're not talking about that anymore. My mother's house is 100 amps, okay? It is 100 amps and that's it, and it works perfectly, okay? That's not to say that all 100 amps are going to work perfectly, but it's possible, okay? So our electrician came out and said, look, you know what? I think it's gonna work. Let's go for it. If it trips, then we'll do it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he did. A lot of times electricians want to, bring that size of that job up. So they're, you need a new panel, you need this, you need that. Some electricians are absolutely awesome and they're trying to actually save you money. Good luck on that. That's just the nature of contractors, I suppose. So electric is all set. Slab is all set.
Well, and
Install's all
so
set.
just a couple of things. All of the hot tubs, except unless you get a 110 plug and play, are going to be 240 volts and require a designated 50 amp breaker. Most of the swim spas are the same. The only time you get, to be more amperage is if you have a dual temperature unit, the 19 foot, because that has 2 heaters and requires 2 50 amp breakers. So you need 100 amps for the dual temp swim spas. And then when you get to the crazy powerful swim spas, even in the single temp Challenger 18 Pro, you need 80 amps. In the Michael Phelps, you need 100 amps for the Force, the Signature, and then 130 amps for the dual temp, just because it's so powerful.
Do you have a dry finger? My fingers are wet. I want to read Carl's.
Okay.
From the bottom, I know it's not ideal, but I like everything hidden. Searching for a hot tub currently. It's not that it's not ideal to have it come up underneath. It's just, we've seen a lot of things. We've been around a long time, and we've seen, if there's an issue, if you decide you want to move it, it becomes tricky. Access can be tricky. If you ever change to a swim spa or a hot tub or go back and forth or whatever, it can be tricky. So that's all. It's not that it's not ideal. If it's in the right place, it can be ideal. It's just a lot of times if it comes up just 6 inches over from where it's supposed to be and it comes up on a frame support.
And that brings up a good point. A lot of times we recommend, especially if you don't have to upgrade your system, you already know you have the power,
Yep.
is to have the hot tub be delivered, or your swim spa, be delivered first.
Yeah.
And then have the electrician come out. Because in most cases, if not all, the electrician has to actually hardwire it once the unit is in place. So it's much easier for him to run the wiring and make sure it's in the right spot if the hot tub or the swim spa is there when the electrician comes.
He's thrown out in the other room.
Okay. And if you're paying an electrician, which a lot of us are when we get a new hot tub or swim spa, then you only have to pay the electrician to come once if the unit is there. He comes, he runs the wire from your box, and then hooks it up inside, directly wires the unit when it's there. So it might be a good idea to have that figured out ahead of time as well, so that you're not having to pay too much for electrical. So.
Then you're going to start, then you go on the Master Spa Owners Group and you say, hey, I'm sorry for the newbie question, and you don't search ahead of time. All right. Sorry for the newbie question. Any tips or tricks, deliveries in the spring, what should I look forward to? And then you'll get this just machine gun fire of recommendations, and some are awesome and some aren't. And oh my God. So, the thing is that you just want to be ready, but like on a swim spa, maybe a vacuum, the spot, cover lifters, things like that. Make sure all that is dialed in. So let's see. Carl hopped in late. No, we're not talking about just swim spas. We talk about everything. Yeah. We focus on the swim spas most of the time, but this is anything goes. And most of the time we'll have hot tub questions on here and hot tub folks on here just as much. So absolutely. What are things to look for in my hot tub search? Ooh.
So that's
a big question.
Yeah, so some of it, like I will tell people, when I'm talking to them, that some of it is personal. So if you're looking for a super therapeutic hot tub,
Yep.
you're going to want to ask about the pump size, and you want to look for big jets. Not a lot of jets.
Yeah, it's not
because
jet
a
count.
lot of jets usually means tiny jets. And tiny jets means little bit of water flow, so you're getting like pinprick massage. You want to look for big honkin' jets if you actually want to move
Honkin'.
muscle tissue,
Honkin'.
and you
Honkin'.
want big jets
Honking
with
jets.
big pumps. Those
Yep.
big pumps are going to push much more water out of those jets so that you're actually going to get a powerful massage. Sometimes that's not the goal in a hot tub. Sometimes the goal is just to hang out with the family and have fun, and you want lots of space, so you want to look for a hot tub that has nice foot room, because maybe you don't want to play footsies with everyone when you're in the hot tub.
Right.
So it just really depends on what your ultimate goal is when you're using the hot tub.
So I always ask, how many butts do you want to get in there? Start with that, because that dictates size. If the answer is 4 or above, you should probably consider an 8-foot tub as opposed to a 7, because a lot of 7s start to get snug when you put 4, 5, 6 people
Yeah.
in them. Some of them might say they're 5 and 6 people, but when you put 3 in there, they're sort of snug. Whereas an 8x8, you're going to be comfortable with 4, 5, and 6 people in there.
And when you go look for a hot tub, if you have the opportunity to go to either a expo or a fair or a showroom,
Yeah, sit in them.
Sit in it, and dry is great because you'll see how your feet fit and how hot tubs get pretty small pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So
It's a little bit like shopping for a tent.
It is, and you want to be able to sit in them. And don't judge the comfort really on the dry, because once you put water in it, everything is much more amazing. So.
Yeah, Carl, obviously we're going to be, pro Master Spas and super biased. We would love to have you in the Master Spa family. I can tell you this. Would you buy without a wet test? Most people do.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, most people do. I know that if you listen to certain internet posts, they'll say, oh, you don't even think about buying anything unless you can wet test it. I mean, most of the time, there's going to be a wet one if you really want to get in there anyway. In most places, whether it's a showroom, whether it was an expo. I mean, we've had people jump in expos plenty of times. So you shouldn't really be denied that, but most people sort of don't want to in front of other people. We run into that way more than we run into people who actually take the time to wet test. So, but if there's one running and you can see the jets and feel them, you do want to feel. I like to show them with the water in there if we can, and really get people to put their hands in there so you can feel what the jets are going to feel like. So for sure, although most are bought without a wet test, the vast majority, honestly. So swim spas, maybe a little more wet testing than hot tubs.
Especially for people who are swimming,
right,
and they want to make sure they're buying a model that they can
swim comfortably
and exercise.
So that would be something
in.
more. Yeah, you're right, on swimmers specifically. So then from there you want to. So then, how many people are in there? Then you want to. What do you want the tub to do for you? You want therapy tub, specific therapy tub, or do you want just jets and tub, awesome, have a good time, recreate, like Mary said, and that'll be fine. And then that'll dictate which path. So for us, how we do this, and this is what you can ask, you want to really know the flow of the jets, okay? So like on our Clarity line, it's 4 to 8 gallons per minute, and on our Twilight, it's 8 to 15 gallons per minute. That's what's going to flow blood through muscle tissue. So if you're looking for therapy, those numbers are going to be important. If you're dealing with someone who doesn't know those numbers, deal with someone who does know those numbers, okay? It's important, okay? So anyway, that's it. So Carl, we definitely can't pitch the entire thing as much as I want to, because I want you to say, I'm going to get a master. I want that.
However, though, the Master Spa's YouTube page,
oh my God,
has lots of videos where they highlight each of the tubs, and they're not that long. They give you highlights of each line, so that's a really good place. It would take us forever, longer than one live to do that, but that's a really good reference for you.
Yeah, the Master Spa's YouTube channel has so much information. Yeah. It's absurd. I can tell you this safely: no manufacturer has a small fraction of the resources that we have put out there, from these lives to videos made at the factory, we have done so much work to get the information out. And that was just critical in the last 5 years, that having that presence is so strong, and that much support is so important, okay? Let's see. Tracy, I would really like to connect with a Master Spa rep. Can't get anyone to respond. Put us, send a message into Master with your zip code, and we'll go from there. All right, we'll figure it out. I just received 19 Trainer D, couple of concerns. Mary, you want to hit that? See more?
Sure, yeah.
That's interesting to me.
Okay, there's a lot there.
Okay, so Melissa, let's take these one at a time. Water seems to need chlorine almost every other day because it's showing low on your test strips. That is by design. So the EcoPure mineral filter is getting rid of excess chlorine. So you want to keep small amounts in there frequently, and then make sure you stay between that 1 to 3 parts per million, okay? But it's very normal. Does the swim spa constantly work on temperature setting, or can I set it where the temps, wait. Does the swim spa constantly work on temperature setting, or can I set it where the temp will be whatever the outside temp sets it to? I want to try to conserve energy. I'm in California. Excuse me. Okay, so you can, to save energy, you can have your
Filter cycles.
Ooh, I'm hungry. The filter cycles in the middle of the night, so that you're typically charged a less amount in the middle of the night, and you can just turn it down, but I don't believe there's a setting that's going to alter based on the ambient temperature outside.
And keep in mind that if you are using it, every time you lower it and then raise it, and then lower it and then raise it, it's using a lot of energy for the raising. Because our units are so well insulated, and the cover is going to keep all of your heat and moisture in, it's actually more efficient to leave it at one temperature that you like to use it at than to drop and raise, drop and raise, drop and raise. So if you like to use it at 90 degrees, leave it there, and it'll maintain that temperature. And then, like Ben said, you can work your you can program your filter cycles to come on, when the cost is less throughout in the daytime or at nighttime.
All right, now we're getting swim spot questions. Here we go. Carolyn, I'm 5'8". You're going to enjoy this, Mary. I don't know if you can see it from there. I have a space that would be perfect for the 12. Any chance there will be a Trainer 12 Deep being released? I would love to see it, but I doubt it. I have never heard any ramblings of that. We have been asked a few times before, which is why it's tickling us that way. But I don't think so. But keep in mind, if you're a swimmer though, at 5'8", the Trainer 12 is a tight fit on a swim. I will tell you that, because I am 5'8", and swimming in there is a little tricky, although the performance is great. The thing moves some water. If you don't need to swim but want that deep depth, the Therapool D, like my mother has, it does, but you can't swim in that. Okay?
We tried. It just doesn't.
Let's see. Can we see some covers for swim spas? Actually, coming up, we will have something like that, but not today. Okay, we can't even use cover lifters here because we have to take the covers all the way out for filming.
But honestly, if you go through some Master Spas or Master Spas Facebook posts or Instagram posts, there are pictures of people's installs where you could see the cover with cover lifters open.
Yep, absolutely.
There's lots of pictures on the social media.
And can I tease? Say there's probably some new stuff coming out? Can I tease that?
Yes, maybe.
I don't know if I can tease that or not. So if I were allowed to tease that, I would say there's probably some new stuff coming out. If I were allowed, but if I'm not sure that I put it on Do Not Disturb. Why is that even doing that? I don't know. My Do Not Disturb is acting disturbed. Okay, Patricia, I saw your question earlier and I missed it. I'm sorry. What do you use to clean underneath the cover? You use, what's it called?
Mildew.
It's made
Lysol.
by Lysol.
Mildew.
Mildew, that one. See, I knew it. I knew that Mary knew it. I knew that Mary knew it. But it works great, okay? I worry about the Therapool will not give enough space for the aerobic exercise. What do you think? You know what, Carolyn? My mother is Constance Welton. She's on this somewhere. That's what she does all of her exercise in. You can ask her. She loves it.
Yeah.
So it is freaking awesome.
There is, if you're not swimming and you're like not
Right.
stretching out long ways, there's plenty of room to move around for any of the exercises that we've posted on here or that are in the exercise book for sure.
Right, absolutely. Okay. All right. So I think we got everybody. Awesome questions, everybody.
Yeah.
So then, delivery day. Are we at delivery day? Go.
Sure, yeah.
What happened on delivery day?
So
You call us with 20 questions.
Yeah.
Because you forgot everything you watched in the videos.
Typically, delivery day, you will get, a text from your crew saying we're on our way, and they're going to come usually in a pickup truck with a trailer, and they're going to either have your big, long swim spa or, your nice compact hot tub. And if it's a swim spa and it's a standard delivery, for most places, that means that they're going to drive that truck and trailer up to the pad that you have in place in your yard. And if that's not the case and they need a crane or some other kind of equipment, they're going to coordinate with that. So the crane will be there with the truck and they will crane it over, and then the hot tub delivery crew or swim spa delivery crew will be there to place and set up your hot tub or swim spa. And every crew is a little bit different as to how they do it and what is part of that standard delivery. So it does a little bit depend on, where you purchase from, which dealer you purchase from. But typically, a delivery crew is going to place your hot tub or swim spa, and they're going to set it up, like set up the steps. They're going to make sure that your covers have the clips attached. If you purchased or you had a cover lifter included, then they will install the cover lifter as well, and give you your startup chemical kit, which that startup chemical kit will typically have like a sheet, a little explanation sheet. And then a couple of things to keep in mind, because we get these questions a lot. If you purchased a hot tub, inside the cabinet where your control panel is a little packet that has your owner's manual, and it has like the locks for the cover, and there's a couple of other goodies in that little packet, but it is inside the hot tub. So you would either you or your electrician's going to have to unscrew that panel underneath where your control panel is, and they're going to take out that little packet that's attached to the frame. Another thing that we get asked a lot about is the swim spa exercise kit. It is also inside that cabinet.
It is. We didn't forget it. It's in there.
So
further than you think.
Yes. So if you purchase a swim spa, you're going to take that cabinet off behind where the hot tub seats are, and on all the models, so where your hot tub seats are, that cabinet is going to get unscrewed. That's where your owner's manual is also, and kind of like tucked in, if you're facing it on the left-hand side usually, is a box that has your exercise kit.
Zip tied to the frame.
If you purchased a Challenger, you're also in that same area. That is also where your GFCI breaker is going to be. So Master
But wait,
Spas,
Mary, what if it's a Challenger 19? Will there be one or two?
only one.
Why?
Because you want to make sure that GFCI, Master Spas provides the GFCI for the VSP pumps that are in the Challengers.
So wait a second. So if you have a Challenger 19D, it only comes D, and you only are provided with one GFCI, which side does it go
It
on?
has to go on the swim side, because that GFCI is provided specifically for the VSP pumps.
There you go.
So in the
It must be used.
in the Challenger 19 and in all the other Trainer series and Therapool series, you will need to have the electrician provide the GFCI, just like you would a hot tub.
And that is a standard GFCI. But
For the Michael Phelps, the GFCI is inside still?
Yeah,
So for the Michael Phelps, the GFCI is,
it's built in.
except for the dual temp, you need a separate one?
No, I think it's built in.
Okay, so the GFCIs and the Michael Phelps are all built in. So those are those things are there.
We'll have to check on that. Jeez, can't remember.
I don't know about the dual temp. I know in the single temp ones.
Oh, wow.
We'll have to find out about the momentum.
We'll find out about the momentum. I'm not sure if the hot tub side of the momentum comes with the built-in GFCI or if it's only the other side. I can't remember.
If someone here has momentum, they can comment.
Yeah,
that would be
if
amazing.
someone knows, pipe in and correct us. I can't freaking remember. It's just, there's nothing there. I have a hole in my brain where that information is supposed to be. Okay?
So those things are all there.
Yep.
Most likely. And if not, the owner's manual are on the Master Spa's website. And if you are 1,000% sure that you didn't get your exercise kit, just contact your dealer where you purchased and they can figure it out. Or you could contact customer service at Master Spas. But your dealer will probably be able to help you out with that.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So, go ahead. I'll get my phone because we did get some questions ahead of time.
Okay, so then install, fill with water, follow the instructions. Everything is awesome. You're done. There you go. We wrapped that up quick. All right. I know the first one. You read me the first question.
Yeah.
Install partially submerged.
Yep.
Correct?
Yes, that's from Carrie in Arizona.
Carrie in Arizona.
And there is like a whole Facebook Live on this topic about syncing your swim spa or hot tub. It would be the same.
Absolutely, same information. So basically what you want to do, you want to dig down. Now I recommend leaving 2 feet if it's a swim spa above. So if you look at my mother's installation, there's 2 feet above the height of the deck we built on one side of it. That was on purpose so she could sit her tush down on the edge and spin in and out really easily. So 2 feet works perfect. So 3 feet down, 2 feet up on a swim spa. On a hot tub, half and half, something like that. So maybe 18 inches above, if you want to do it that way, although up to you. So dig down. The hole needs to be bigger than the swim spa. So most of the time these installs are swim spa specific, so I'll target those with my answer. 3 feet larger, okay? If it's 2, we can squeeze in there, but really you want that 2 to 3, all right? So from there, you're gonna do a cement pad underneath, and then retaining wall 2 or 3 feet larger than the swim spa on all 4 sides, okay? Preferably 3. Sometimes if there's a setback line and we have to adjust it a little bit, they can be adjusted if need be. Just talk to your dealer and make sure you've left them enough space for servicing your swim spa. Then from there, swim spa gets placed, and then contractors, they can either build a framework with 4x4s to support a deck going up to the swim spa. We prefer that rather than tying into the swim spa, just in case they were to penetrate something with a screw or a nail that maybe wasn't supposed to be penetrated. All right, so a framework with 4x4s, they can set that up afterwards, really easy to do. And then so you've got this larger than your swim spa hole, swim spa goes down, gets decked over to the top. Now, one thing that needs to be done, you need proper drainage. I prefer a gravity drain, so just a natural drain so that you can get all the rainwater out of there. We have had people with natural drains. We've had people with pump systems. Pumps are great, but you know what? A pump is a piece of equipment, and pieces of equipment can fail. All right, so if it were raining really hard, I think it was just a pump system, I'd be concerned that hole was filling up with water. I'd be out there checking to make sure, not that there's anything you could do in the middle of, some horrendous rainstorm, but I would check, okay? And then you need a battery backup one, because if it's gonna rain like that, you might lose power. So I really like a gravity drain in a vault, or maybe like if it's on a hillside, you can just set it in so that it softens the look from the house side, but then down the hill is open and just that water runs out. So I have a deck around mine on 3 sides, but the back side where the service side is completely open, there's no deck there. So I could literally take the cabinet off, sit in Indian style, and service the tub, and that's where we're gonna be, the vast majority of the time. And then crawl space around the rest, okay?
Next question is from Fernando in Indiana. What do you recommend I do when I leave for 3 months to Florida? Should I keep my spa full and running, or should I winterize? So if you have someone who comes to your house and can keep an eye out on your swim spa, regularly, and throw in a little bit of sanitizer, weekly, then leave it running. But if you're gone for 3 months and you don't have anybody to rely on to do that, then you definitely want to winterize it. And we recommend having a professional do it so that you know that it's done correctly.
For sure.
Next question is from Glenda in Texas. I live alone, barely know a hammer from a screwdriver, and I worry about maintenance. Can you advise about typical maintenance as well as typical utility costs? So Glenda, we really quickly will touch on this, but we have done lots and lots of videos on hot tub and swim spa maintenance. But essentially, you can either do it, you could do it two ways. You're going to use a little bit of chlorine at the end of each use, and once a week use a non-chlorine shock. And literally these are small amounts. It's in the owner's manual, or you'll get an explanation sheet. Or you could do it the opposite, where you're using a little bit of shock after each time, and then chlorine once a week. You want to rinse out your filters once a month, and then twice a year on the hot tub, or once a year on a swim spa to drain and refill it. Everything is really easily accessible. It's something that, it shouldn't be really hard. A lot of times people complicate it more than it needs to be.
From time to time.
But just, in here, we put a little bit of chlorine in after we use it, rinse out the filters. We do not do it once a month if we're being honest, but we should. And then, once or twice a year, because we use the swim spa a lot. There's a lot of use of this swim spa. So usually it ends up being more like twice a year that we're draining and refilling it. But again, if you have further questions, post them here. But if not, there are lots of videos on the YouTube, Master Spa's YouTube channel on taking care of it and how easy it is. Typical utility costs are really going to depend on where you live. You're in Texas. It's going to be pretty low because it's warm most of the time. So, on a swim spa, maybe $500 to $600 a year. On a hot tub, $20 to $30 a month. That's really estimated.
And you're not going to have the rates down there are not going to be as bad. Like up here, we pay. My house is 36 cents a kilowatt hour. That's pretty high.
Yeah.
It's really high actually for Connecticut. So it's. We got a question on here.
Yep.
Should I be concerned, Carolyn? Should I be concerned that the soft floor option will peel off? I wouldn't be. We've had people not take great care of the water, and it gets abused. We've had kids abuse some. This one here gets used like crazy, and it's totally fine. You just want to keep an eye on your pH, keep your water in good shape, and it'll be fine. So I do love the soft tread option. Although I will say, I think the top step at my house got loose on the little side. So I just peeled it out of there on the top step. But next water fill, I'll replace that. But I think it's worth it, so I don't really care. But I do really love to have that. If you're doing any running, therapy, exercise in it, it's so nice to have that soft tread. It works fantastic.
For the traction and the cushion, it is
comfort,
really
the
nice.
safety on the steps, it's awesome.
And the last question that we got ahead of time was from Beth in Rhode Island. Can I install in a finished garage or basement? So yes, the one thing you need to consider, garage is great. If it's a swim spa, you just need to consider the ceiling height because you need to have cover swing.
And if it's too tight, just go to the roll cover.
And the other thing, if you're going to put it in a basement, it needs to be a walkout basement essentially because they have to be. It comes in one piece, whether it's a hot tub or a swim spas. Either you're going to have to take out a wall and it be able to walk it in, or there's enough room. The garage is much easier than the basement, but it can be done if you have the clearance.
Charlie, Trainer 15, no insulation around the pumps and several of the nearby tubes, pipes. Worried this will be a problem in single digits. Not here. Mine's outside Connecticut, single digits all the time. So,
and we've had lots of people post on here from Winnipeg, and
Michigan, Northern Michigan, North Dakota. Yeah, you're fine, Charlie. Put it out of your mind. It's easy.
All right. So we might have a surprise appearance next week, but if not, we will be back in 2 weeks on October 4th.
2 weeks.
If anyone has any further questions, just post them, or you can direct message Master Spas. Just put, for Ben and Mary. But we hope everybody takes advantage of the global sale to help out St. Jude's. And if you're looking for something in the spring, now's the time to start looking. So,
best deal, and then you won't have to pay the price increase at the end of the year.
yeah. So we'll see everybody in 2 weeks. Have a great night.
Bye, guys.